As we get closer to Xenoblade Chronicles 3's launch on July 29th of this year, Monolith Soft has given us more information on the gameplay and what they're doing to really change it up from previous Xenoblade games and make this the best Xenoblade game of all time. And I'm seeing signs of that, guys, especially as somebody who's been playing Xenoblade since day one, more than a decade now, and a number of games. I'm liking a lot of the changes here, and we're going to detail a lot of those big updates to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in just a bit. But before we get into that, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first as we go down this journey of RPGs and Nintendo content on the channel. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it here. Shout outs to the eternal Xenoblade Chronicles at Xenoblade EN that has done some nice translations of the Japanese Xenoblade account, because they do it faster than Nintendo of America gets it done, and sometimes Nintendo of America doesn't even do anything at all because it's like little clips and they just say, hey, whatever, we'll get to the big stuff. But we're not skipping over anything because this is my most anticipated game of the year. So starting off first here, we do have some updates on the healing in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So Inui's art, Healing Circle, has the effect of restoring allies' HP within the circle. If you are within its range, it will gradually restore your HP. When attackers' HP is reduced, it is important to get in the circle. Now, why this is important is because, remember, you can now switch characters at any point. So it's giving you a little bit more control over what you want to do and how you get healed. So let's just say you have an attacker that's getting bopped at the moment and you want to make sure that the healing is going down. Well, what you do is you move them in position, switch over to Inui, and then have her do her healing, or anybody else who is the class of healing or who can heal. At least with her, she has this unique skill. So this is pretty good. And once again, it's going to be used in an advanced state once you start playing the harder bosses, the secret bosses, things like that. This will be very important to make sure that you have control of your characters and you move people into the circle who needs to be healed and when it needs to be done, or just playing the healing support, because you can switch between anyone, so you can be that person in the game actually healing people as well. So I do like that. Now, next up, because you know that we're not done, we do have a brand new clip and more about reviving allies and the healing process as well. So it does say if you press and hold A near an incapacitated ally, they can be revived. This is an action specific to the healers, so be careful to ensure they are not incapacitated as well. So once again, it's one of those things to where in Xenoblade, there is an aggro system. The more you do arts, the more you attack an enemy, the more the enemy will draw your attention. So of course, you want to keep the aggro off of your attackers and onto your defenders, and of course keep it off of your healers. So if something does happen, because it will, it's Xenoblade, you're gonna get knocked out, you can have a healer go over there and revive them. But remember, this is a unique aspect of only healers. Only healers can do this. So it's not like you can just take anybody else and revive them. So you need to make sure that you switch over once again, go to the healer. Now this provides more strategy, more depth, tweaking things just a bit in the game to make sure that you want to be involved with the different characters and anything. I do like these changes, especially with having up to 7 characters on the screen at the same time fighting, 6 in your standard normal party, and being able to change classes at any point. This is definitely another good feature being added into the game, and I think it's going to play a part into the combat and into what they have with this specific game, because each Xenoblade game, you can tell it's Xenoblade, but they have these differences that just make the combat and make what you need to do in order to succeed completely different between each game. That's why you see opinions wildly vary about what's the best Xenoblade game. Some say 2, some say X, some say 1, some say Torna, and that's like not even some, like a lot say. It's all kind of like divided. There isn't a universal type of like, okay, it's this. I mean, I would say most people probably say it's Xenoblade 1, but there's many who have played the other ones that say, no, well, wait a minute, hold up, this does this, this, and this. And I think that Xenoblade 3 is going to have its own built set grouping of fans saying, no, it's this one, this is the best one, of people that have played all of them. So once again, another very good thing added into the mix here. Now, last but definitely not least, we have some more on the battle stuff, and I did go over this just a bit. You guys are going to see a clip that I covered before, but of course, if you're someone new, obviously this might be new information, but it's something that we've covered, we've seen in the trailers, and I've detailed, and here's what Xenoblade Ian had to say about it as well. In battle, you can temporarily withdraw your weapon to move a set distance at a high speed. This is called a quick move. During a quick move, you cannot attack, but you can use it to reposition to a fallen ally or to the side of an enemy. Make good use of it. So once again, you're adding in all of these layers, and this is a brand new technique that's never been in a single Xenoblade game. That is definitely going to change up the pace, the flow, the speed, and how battles do, because you're going to be like in front of an enemy, then you can quickly move over to the back, quickly move over to the side, and get your attacks in, which could be the difference between life and death here. But now we actually have an official name for it. I just called it a dodge, but they're calling it a quick move. So you can't attack during this, so you're not going to get any auto attacks. But since in this game, your weapons actually just kind of form from your inner being based on your class, this is kind of interesting because you can just dissolve that weapon right away while you do your quick move, then bring it right back up, which I really do like about that, which blades have had the ability to do things like that, when they want to form a weapon. So I do feel that this is a really cool technique that they're adding in. I like it. The game looks absolutely fantastic in all these different clips, even though we have some Twitter compression going on and YouTube compression going on. From what I'm seeing here, the game looks great. They've added the extra detail. They're adding in new moves. They're adding in new mechanics. They have 6, 7 people on screen fighting at the same time without any visual, drops or frame rate drops from what they've shown so far. It looks smooth and it looks clean. Monolith Soft by far is one of the best developers in the industry. You can just see the quality and the passion being put into this game with all these new techniques and everything that they're doing here. So I'm very excited to, of course, hear more about it and hear more about techniques, hear more about combat, hear more about cool stuff within the game to improve the gameplay. Not here's this blade, here's this blade, here's this blade, because that's how the Xenoblade 2 marketing was. Here's a new blade, here's a new blade, and yeah, they'd show some combat and stuff every now and then, but this type of content is so much more fun to cover because we're covering content, we're covering actual mechanics, and we're covering different things that you can do and the new additions to the game. It's so much better. So thank you, Monolith Soft, for getting your marketing game when it comes to what they show us a lot better this time around. A lot better this time around. I'm enjoying it a lot more. So what are your thoughts on these new additions to Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Are you guys excited or getting more excited for the game, or is this kind of hyping you up, or maybe you're going to try it out for the first time? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, now moving on to the next topic here. Ubisoft, I'm not exactly sure what Ubisoft is doing, but it seems like to me that they're treating Prince of Persia Sands of Time as if it's some type of like Legend of Zelda series or something, because they're having all sorts of issues and problems and cannot get it together when it comes to the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. So here is the latest information on the game, guys. So Ubisoft Montreal will now take over as the lead developer on Prince of Persia The Sands of Time remake from Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai. Publisher Ubisoft announced. Here is the following message that was put on the official Twitter account. Quote, the development of the Prince of Persia The Sands of Time remake will now be led by Ubisoft Montreal, the very birthplace of the epic Sands of Time trilogy. The decision is an important step, and the team, building upon the work achieved by Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai, will now take the time they need to regroup on the scope of the game to deliver you the best experience for this remake of an all-time classic when it's ready. We want to thank you all for your continuous support and patience throughout the development. Rest assured that we will update you on the progress in a future update. The development team, once again, the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake was officially announced for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, but there is enough information that's being put out there, at least rumors and some stuff, that it's probably coming to the Switch too, or maybe could be coming to the Switch at some point, maybe at launch or later down the line. But either way, we don't know everything that's going on at this point. Now that they're moving it over to a different development team, and now they're starting up with the original, and this kind of reminds me of Metroid Prime, the situation that's there, because they put it in a different developer's hands, then it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to work out, and they moved it back to the original, people that make the game. The difference though with this is that it's not a new game. Like Metroid Prime 4 is brand new. This is a remake of a game. So it's not like you don't have the source material. It's not like you can't look and see, hey, that's that, then let's do this. So there was something else at hand here. They, for one reason or another, couldn't improve the graphics the way that they wanted it to, because that's essentially what the problem was. It wasn't because the gameplay looked terrible or bad. It's because of how the fans and people on the internet reacted to the graphics. So the only thing that I can think of, at least based on the outside looking in, is that they can't make the graphics the way that they want it to look, or whatever the case is, right? Or something has to be with that, because the gameplay looked okay to me from what they showed. They didn't show a lot, but it seemed like the Sands of Time, but with PS3 360 graphics or something like that, right? So to me, I mean, I thought it was going to be like a nice little $40 game, a remake, and yeah, maybe the graphics aren't the best, but hey, the gameplay is going to be fun, and that would be that. I didn't know that it was going to turn into an epic changing of developers and all this other stuff and all that. Like, I had no idea that they're going to turn it into this. Like, honestly, I didn't think of Sands of Time like that, because back when Sands of Time came out, well, yeah, people liked it, but people didn't look at it as some type of crazy, oh my gosh, all-time classic, this is the greatest thing ever. I mean, people just saw it as like a cool game. Like, it was just, okay, cool, and it was in the bargain bin after like a number of months. So, like, I know that maybe I don't have the opinion of Sands of Time like some people do, but I didn't know that it was going to go through all of this. So that's news to me, but hey, it is what it is, and obviously a better game is a better game for the consumers out there. So take their time, and whenever it does come out, it comes out. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake changing developers? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and we have the typical, here we go again, the CJ meme. Yes, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, double pack. Here we go. Again. Yes, another rumor on this here, so let's go ahead and get into the article. Shout outs to Go Nintendo for the beat on this one. And here's what they had to say. For quite some time now, people have been speculating about The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess heading over to Nintendo Switch. While Nintendo has never made any comment on this happening, an industry insider, a friend of the Spawncast and a friend of PlayerEssence, claims both are coming and coming soon. Notable insider and also Games Beat writer. Notable insider. He's my man, Games Beat writer. I just call him, like, he works for somewhere. You can just call him Jeff. Anyway, okay, so Jeff Grubb claims that Nintendo is indeed working on a Wind Waker / Twilight Princess double pack for the Nintendo Switch. What he doesn't know is when it's coming, but Grubb thinks this year makes a lot of sense. So, quote, they want to have a Zelda thing every year. They've been holding on to this. Why wouldn't they just put it out this year? And if they don't put it out, or some other Zelda thing this year, instead of just waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, I just will not understand. I do think this game, as much as it's a joke in the Mega 64 video, I do believe it does actually come out in October. I think we get that in October. I think we get a Metroid Prime remaster in November, and I think we get Advanced Wars 1+2 in December. Now, once again, that's all speculation there, but that's what he's saying. But that is a slew of remakes, remasters, redos, all this type of stuff. Just bam, bam, and bam. I mean, I don't think Nintendo fans would necessarily be upset with that. It's just remakes and remasters, but I think a lot of people have been asking for those games on the Nintendo Switch anyway, right? People are showing off their Steam Decks, but they're playing all that stuff regardless. So, I mean, if you can have it officially on the Nintendo Switch, I'm guessing that Nintendo has this just ready to go or almost ready to go, and they're just waiting for the right time to release it. So we'll see if it happens this year. I just find it funny. It's like the same rumors over and over again, but this is like pretty... like, it's going to happen, right? I mean, we've had the Metroid Prime rumors for a while now. We just had all sorts of rumors. So we'll see what happens going forward. But what are your thoughts on this, guys? Shout outs to Jeff Grubb. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, now moving on to the last topic here, guys. We do have a pretty cool game launching on everything, including the Nintendo Switch. I've covered it a little bit before, but now we have an official launch date for this game, and this could be the big game, I guess, that Switch fans can look forward to. So Redout 2 will launch for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, via Steam, and the Nintendo Switch, and Epic Game Store, almost forgot that, on May 26th. Publisher Saber Interactive and developer 34 Big Things announced. Now here is a little bit more information about the game. So Redout 2 is the future of racing, rocketing out the gate with 36 unique tracks, each of which can be played in reverse, so mirror mode, for a grand total of 72 tracks and all. Nice slick there, saying, oh, it's a different track when you mirror it, you know? Okay, so strafe, tilt, and boost through mind-bending, jaw-dropping courses in a variety of game modes, including an expansive single-player campaign, that's nice, and competitive online multiplayer for up to 12 players on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, and up to 6 players on the Nintendo Switch. So they cut the players in half for the Nintendo Switch version. So we're definitely going to have to be on the lookout when it comes to that with Digital Foundry. And what else did they cut? Did they cut anything else in half when it comes to the Nintendo Switch version? Now, customize your hover ship with a massive selection of options and feel the rush with a challenge tailored to your preferences with Redout 2's advanced calibration system. Now they have a bunch of stuff here talking about the photo mode, talking about the experience of futuristic soundtrack, comprehensive customization, put all sorts of cool stuff. Intercoolers, flaps, rudders, magnets, wings, spoilers, rocket engines. You can customize everything. The competitive multiplayer, the career mode, the speed and control. And for those that are looking for a potential F-Zero style game to play, because these games kind of don't come out anymore. Sony doesn't do the Wipeout series anymore. Nintendo has been dormant on F-Zero, so we don't really see too much. The last one that I remember that kind of had some notoriety was like Fast Racing Neo and like Fast Racing series on Nintendo platforms. So that was kind of the last one. It's been a while since then. I think that was like a launch title for the Switch. So yeah, I do think that this can have a lot of success, even with the half of the online players on the Nintendo Switch version of the game, just as long as everything else holds up with the graphics and the frame rate and all that. I think it could be pretty good. But even if it's not, that's okay. It's on pretty much every other platform. A lot of people already have multiple platforms, so I'm guessing that it's going to be really good on PlayStation 5 and really good on Xbox Series and really good on all the systems that it runs on. Looks like they have kind of just like a base game. They just ported it over to everything, so things are going to look pretty much the same across most of the platforms. But either way, it looks really good, especially if you're an F-Zero fan. So what do you guys think about all the different topics here that I covered, from Xenoblade Chronicles, Ubisoft with Prince of Persia, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker? Here we go again on the Nintendo Switch, and of course Redout 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.